Hey, this is John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneurs on Fire, and you are listening to the Social Media Talks podcast with Alan Hennessy from Compass Media. This is the podcast to help business owners who want to learn more about digital and social media marketing. You are prepared to ignite.
Before we begin this episode, we'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors and also our supporters. The Social Media Talks podcast is sponsored by Content Cal, creating a solution to simplify and speed up how teams can plan, collaborate on, approve, publish and analyze social media content in a familiar and intuitive calendar interface. In just 3 years, they have been trusted by over 10,000 businesses and agencies in 110 countries to deliver social media content at scale and have recently won an award for the Content Management Tool of the Year. For more information on Content Cal, visit their website at contentcal.io. We would also like to remind you the Social Media Talks podcast is proudly supported by charityradio.ie, one of Ireland's leading online radio stations supporting charities across Ireland for free. And now, this week's episode.
Welcome to Social Media Talks podcasts, brought to you by compassmedia.ie.
Hello and thank you for joining me. This is the Social Media Talks podcast, brought to you by compassmedia.ie, episode number 75. I'm your host, Alan Hennessy, and this is the podcast to help business owners who want to learn more about social media marketing. And if you'd like to listen to any of our previous podcasts, you can log on to our website at compassmedia.ie/Social Media Talks podcasts. You can also join our Facebook group by logging on to facebook.com/groups/Social Media Talks. And this is the second in our series of solo podcasts. Yes, indeed, guys, you only have me today. And today we're going to be talking all about hashtags and how they work and what they can do for your business. So I do hope you can stay with me for this. And just a quick mention to thank you for all your support over the last few episodes as well, and also for all your tweets and your posts and all your emails that we received with regards to the first solo podcast, which we were blown away by. We didn't realize it was going to be such a success. So you do like to hear me talk. So as I said, my thanks to you for sending on your comments and also subscribing to the podcast. And if you would like to subscribe to the podcast and you haven't already, all you have to do is click on to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review, and you can subscribe there as well. Okay, so let's get into this. So we are talking today all about hashtags, and we are going to be talking about how they work. And we're going to be talking about some of the ideas that you can use to actually create some fantastic hashtags, and also we give you a few tips and tricks as well, a few little ninja ideas as well in there, and some of the popular hashtags that are floating around at the moment. So one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast is when I'm now training and when I'm out talking to clients, it's probably one of the biggest questions that I get asked. It's one of the key questions that I get asked is what are hashtags and how should I use them and where should I use them and what purpose do they serve as well. So hopefully it will help you to use hashtags in a lot more productive way. Where did hashtags really come from? Well, the hashtag was actually invented and credited to Chris Massini in August of 2007. And it was around that time he was a product designer from Silicon Valley, and he proposed that vertical and associated grouping of messages, trends and the events on Twitter were being able to connect with each other through the form of a hashtag. And also one of the other reasons why he started that was the hashtags was a quick fix to share information across the internet and with other product designers around the Silicon Valley. through this particular hashtag. So people could go on and they could just search on that hashtag, and then they could find that conversation that they were talking about. So that's really where the hashtag came from. So it's around quite a long time, so since 2007. And I suppose hashtags are the driving force behind some of the world's most successful marketing campaigns, and they've become a huge part as well. Recently, if you've noticed, if you have a smart television, that they now have incorporated that into smart televisions, where you can view Twitter on the bottom of your screen and see and have the ability, I suppose, to add into that conversation that's going on Twitter while still watching your favorite program. I know there was a couple like, I know America's Got Talent, they done it, and I also know that the British, Britain's Got Talent, they used it as well while that was on, and you were able to see the tweets. And 9 times out of 10 now, that most people and most television programs have a hashtag associated with it. So it means that a conversation can be going on online as well as while people are watching the television. So you're getting sort of the best of both worlds as well with hashtags. Why are they so important? Well, hashtags are very, very important for business. They can be used to get in front of bigger audiences. Also, they can raise awareness about your brand and also target to specific groups of people. And they also boost your SEO, and they also, you should use them really, I suppose, for the hot trends and the topics, and take advantage of them there. And you'll find these are, I know a lot of people will say that hashtags are only supposed to be used on Twitter and now with Instagram, but hashtags work across all different platforms. They work across LinkedIn, they work across Pinterest, they work across YouTube. They also work across with your blog posts on your website. They're sort of a form of keyword, and really that's how they can be really, really so insightful. And basically what a hashtag actually does is it narrows down a conversation. So instead of say you're on Twitter and you're actually looking for, all of this information and you want to just find out about a particular subject, you can type in a hashtag and put in a search for a hashtag, and it will bring you up that information. So what it does is it narrows down that search and gives you a lot more flexibility, and it gives you a lot more, I suppose, insight into that particular topic that you're looking to follow. How can we use hashtags for our business? Well, usually you follow the rule of thumb when it comes to choosing hashtags for Twitter. The general rule is that you would use 1 to 2 hashtags per tweet. Many studies have shown that 3 or more hashtags used on a tweet will actually drop engagement. So I would be very, very specific in regards to what type of hashtags you're going to use with your content on Twitter. Now, I know it is different, and it's extremely different on Instagram, and I'm going to come to that now in a minute. But ensuring that your hashtags are of the most relevance to the topic at hand, and keep in mind that relevant hashtags will allow you to tweet as seen by others involved in that particular conversation, going on to multiple platforms as well. Now, Instagram, it's slightly different, okay? And I suppose with the advent of Instagram and becoming so popular now with regards to social media, where people are starting to move away from certain different social networks and they're starting to get more involved with Instagram, and it's becoming a lot more prominent. So being prominent and being in front of your audience can have huge benefits for your business. Now, as I said, hashtags are heavily used on Instagram, and they can, there's a larger word count, of course, on Instagram. So it gives you that ability to add a lot more hashtags in. But saying that, don't overpopulate it, guys, and don't be using them for every second word, because people will see it, and apart from anything else, they'll get annoyed with it and they won't read your content. So be very careful. Usually I would always suggest to people to use the hashtags, maybe 1 or 2 if there is a particular word that you want to focus on within your post. But 9 times out of 10, try and keep it to the bottom of your post or your bottom of your content as well. Really, really important. You can use up to around about 30 hashtags per post, allowing you to reach a much wider audience. Once again, make the hashtags relevant to your content and also to help them reach maximum exposure for your post as well. And a little ninja tip for you for Instagram is to add the relevant hashtags into the comments of your posts. So when you create a post on Instagram, for instance, what you should do is have 1 or 2 or 3, whatever it may be, hashtags that are in there. But immediately when you post, go in and do a comment on it and use the relevant hashtags to that. So if you're a business and you use a particular hashtag, and I will talk about this in a minute, but if you're using particular hashtags that are associated to your business, put them, onto a notepad on your desktop or mobile phone. Just put it in your notes or something like that. So it means that all you have to do is copy them and then put them straight into your comments. It's a handy little tool, and what it does is it also shows more engagement as well on your particular post. I know you're sort of tricking the system, but it's if you follow a lot of businesses, they will do this. So maybe go do a little bit of research and see what it is, see what they're doing, and maybe you can learn from that. And there's many great tools and websites on the internet for you to search when it comes to hashtags. Personally, I use it a lot for business, and then I've also found that there is a particular number of websites out there that I would go to on a regular basis that will help me to find relevant hashtags. And searching social media for them can help you, but also there's a few websites. Let me see, for instance, we have Instatag. That is a very good website. It has a lot of obviously Instagram tags and stuff like that, and it shows you the most relevant ones, the most popular ones, the top ones that are out at the moment. So keep an eye on that. It is Instatag, and we'll put the links to this in the show notes as well. Also, RightTag is another great one, similar to Instatag. And then there's Hashtagify.me. So it's Hashtagify.me. That is a fantastic one. That's been around for quite some time, so it's probably one of the leaders, and I know there is a free accounts, and then there is the paid accounts. And the paid accounts obviously are going to give you a lot more insight and are going to give you a lot more detail. But if you are a business and you're looking to use hashtags on a regular basis, well, that is definitely one that you should look into as well. Then you have the other one, which would be Export Tweet. And you might say, well, that's a bit strange, but it actually has a hashtag facility on that as well. So take that into consideration and have a look at them. Probably the best place to find hashtags, and if you're looking for the top trending ones, is to check out Twitter and look at their hashtags that are trending at the moment. And by there, you're going to see them, and then you can also adapt them and use them also on Instagram. When it comes to hashtags for your business, it's very important that you follow these sort of guidelines, I would say to you, because this is what's going to make it a lot more easier for you, but it's also going to give you a lot more visibility, and it's also going to give you a lot more exposure. So the key factors for when you are creating your hashtags, and remember guys, the hashtags are not yours. You do not own them. You cannot buy them. You can only jump onto them, or you can only create them yourself. They are free to use on the internet, so anyone can use this. So, for instance, if you have one of your competitors are using a relatively good hashtag that really is getting a lot of traction, well, maybe think about incorporating that into your text or into your posts or your tweets or your comments or whatever it may be that you're going to be doing it on, because they are the key ones that are happening in your particular industry. Well, why not use them? Simple as that. But remember, there's key points to make. One, keep it short. Keep that hashtag short. Don't make it too long that it's too hard to understand or people can't read it. Because if someone wants to retweet it and use that hashtag to involve you in another conversation that's happening or that mentions you and wants to use that hashtag, if they spell it wrong, you're not going to get seen. Their post or their tweet is also not going to be seen by you. So keeping it short and keeping it smart is very, very good rule of thumb to use. Okay, make it unique. So if you're going to use this, try and make it as unique to your business or to your brand or to your company as possible. So if that means that you can use particular words like in, whether it be your business or something like that, that you can use the actual, your business name, fantastic. That's a huge win-win situation for you as well. And also try to use your company or your company name where applicable, because it really does work and it does help. And then also include a call to action. Now, I did speak about call to actions in the last podcast, so if you want to check that out, you can check out episode number 74, I think it is. Yes, we're on 75, so I'd check out episode number 74 when you want to find out more about calls to action as well. But adding a call to action to a tweet is very, very important. And you might say to yourself, well, what do you mean by that? Well, like for instance, I'll give you an example. So for instance, when we are using the hashtags for the Social Media Talks podcast, we always use 3. And the 3 ones that we always use are SM Talks. That's a very important one, because that's how we know, and that's how we can also track what's going on and who's talking about the Social Media Talks podcast. We also use Compass Media, which is the company that I own and the one that I run. So I use Compass Media, which gives me exposure because of the podcast as well. And then the call to action one is a subscribe now. Now you can have, vote now. You could have, call us now. You could have, contact us, contact me, or whatever it may be. You can use a wide variation of them, but we use subscribe now for the simple reason we have covered the 3 bases. So we've covered the actual show, we've covered the company, and we've also covered the call to action. So very important. That's the type of hashtags that you should be using when you're creating your content as well. Now, promoting your hashtag can take a bit of work, so make sure that you use them each time when you post content. That can be across your LinkedIn posts, it can be across your tweets, it can be across your Facebook posts, it can be across your Instagram posts, and also on your Pinterest if you have a Pinterest account, or if you have a YouTube account. Use them hashtags because they are searchable, and they're also searchable on Google. Now, a person that does that really, really well is Madeline Sklar. And if you don't know who Madeline Sklar is she is the Twitter expert, and she uses the hashtag Twitter Smarter. That is a fantastic hashtag, and if you check that out, if you're online and you just look for the hashtag Twitter Smarter, you will see the amount of content that comes with that. And Madeline has now sort of made that into her own, and is now uses that in every post and every tweet that she puts out. She uses the Twitter Smarter because, one, she can check it. One, she can also monitor and analyze the data that's coming back from it and what people are saying. And it's the easiest way probably to get to her as well, because you will automatically, if she sees the Twitter Smarter hashtag, she will actually go and she will be checking out what it is. So very, very good way of using, and very smart way of using a hashtag. So as I said, if you want looking for an example, it's called Twitter Smarter. That's TWITTER SMARTER, Twitter Smarter, all one word. And she uses that for branding her podcasts and also her online courses and herself as well. So really, really smart way of doing it. And as I said, we do it the same with the SM Talks as well. Now, using hashtags on Instagram posts are that use hashtags gain nearly 12.6 increase of engagement compared to those without. So if you are on Instagram, very, very important. And I've seen a lot of businesses that actually don't use hashtags on their posts, and they don't get as much reach. So if you are starting out on Instagram, make sure that you start looking at hashtags and start to try and understand what are the best ones that you can use. And as I said, we've given you a few websites, and also if you look at people that are actually, who are following you on Instagram, look at what hashtags they're using and try and analyze the data, because if you don't measure it, you can't manage it, guys. Right? Very, very simple as that. And really, really is important to do that. Okay, some of the most popular hashtags used on Instagram. Okay, now we're going to do this very, very quickly. So we'll go with them. So first one is fun. The second one is Insta-like. Another one is me. Another one is I for I. Love is another one. Pick of the day is another one. Follow, Instagram mania. Also like for like, follow for follow, happy, smile, insta tag, photo of the day, friends, follow me, fashion, insta daily, summer, amazing, like for like, beautiful, swag, best of the day, also insta good, selfie, cute, BTB. These are all popular hashtags, and you can find out all that information as well on the instatag.net website as well, where they will show you a lot more of them. I'm just giving you a few ideas. Now, there's some popular hashtags that you incorporate into your posts and your tweets and even your blog posts to gain extra traction. So the types of, say, love, me, BTB, cute, happy, tag for likes, self, girl, friend, fun, like, fashion, business, SME, startup, entrepreneur, social media, marketing, and also food and drink as well in there. They are all very, very popular hashtags that you can use for your business and for, for general conversations as well. Now, another thing that a lot of people actually don't realize that you can do is on a daily basis, if you're creating content and you want to have your content shared on particular days, okay, you can jump on to every day there is a hashtag. So I just want to run through a few of them and it'll give you an idea. So for instance, on a Monday you could have Monday motivation, you could have marketing Monday. On Tuesday you could have transformation Tuesday, you could have workout Wednesday, you could even have hump day, which is obviously midweek, and then you have Wednesday wisdom, or you can have wisdom Wednesday, whichever it may be, whichever one suits you. You can also have throwback Thursday, thankful Thursday, Friday feeling, flashback Friday, freebie Fridays, Saturday style, Saturday specials, Sunday fun day, and spotlight Sunday. And they're just a few ideas of how you can use these particular hashtags on these particular days. So guys, think about that when you're using your hashtags. That if you're doing it on a Monday and you're putting up a fantastic quote or something that you've seen over the weekend or that you want to put out from your business, use that Monday motivational. There's some fantastic motivational posts that go out every Monday, and you can see where all of them are by just following that one particular hashtag, Monday motivation, and you'll find them all in there. So it's really, really important. So hopefully this has given you a bit more of an understanding in regards to hashtags and the way that they can be used and the way that they can be incorporated into your marketing strategy on digital. This is one of the key factors of social media marketing and also of digital marketing, and it's not going away. So you need to get in tune with it, you need to understand it, and you need to take a little bit more concern and take a little bit more detail into it and see if you can use this to I suppose to build up your following, because once people start following hashtags, they start seeing that you're using who you are and where your business is. And also you also have there's a lot of especially on Twitter, they have a lot of Twitter hours where they use particular hashtags. So have a look online. You'll find it if you search it in and search Google and just look for Twitter hours across your wherever you may be. So if it's in the States or if it's in Ireland or if it's in England or wherever it may be, you'll find that there is a number of Twitter hours that go on every week. You'll also find them now as well starting to creep into Instagram. So if people are using these hashtags, jump on them and find out. Engage with them, people. Engage with your followers. Engage with the people that are on these hours, because they'll end up following you, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you will grow your actual following on all of these social networks with the use of hashtags. So very, very important, guys. So as I said, it really is. It's a big part of marketing, and it's now become an even bigger part because of social media. And there's some really quirky ones out there as well. So, don't be afraid to experiment, because when you experiment, you'll find out a lot more that if people are enjoying them and people like them, it really is. It can be so, so valuable. I do hope some of this information that we've given you today has been of use to you, and we will also have a blog post that we will be releasing, and that will be on the website, and also you can take down all the details, and we'll also be putting up obviously the show notes for this particular episode of the Social Media Talks podcast. So as I said, that is all about hashtags today, and that is the second in our series. And if you'd like to listen to any of our previous podcasts, you can log on to our website at compassmedia.ie. All of the podcasts are also available on Mixcloud, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, Spotify, and of course Apple Podcasts. And we would be delighted if you would leave us a rating and review on the podcast, as we love to receive your feedback on the podcast as well. You can also subscribe to the Social Media Talks podcasts, so you never miss an episode there as well. And if you'd like the show notes for this episode or for any of the previous episodes, you can log on to compassmedia.ie /SM Talks show notes. And if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, please do get in contact with me. I would love to hear from you. All you have to do is send us an email at smtalks@compassmedia.ie, and when we get it, we will get in contact with you and see how we can arrange to get you to come on the podcast and share your experience with us. And if you want to find out more about the services that Compass Media provide, from social media marketing and training to podcast services, visit the website at compassmedia.ie. You can also find me on all of the social networks, including Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm across them all. All you have to do is search for Alan Hennessy or for Compass Media, and make sure that you let me know that you heard us here on the podcast, so we have something to be able to talk about as well. Okay, so that's about my lot for today. I do hope you enjoyed this podcast, the second in our series. We'll be back next week with another solo podcast. So until next week, have a great week, and as I always say, be social. Until next week, bye-bye.
Social Media Talks podcast is a production from compassmedia.ie.